Good morning. Thank you for joining us today for this presentation on Digital Eyes. I am Christine Thomas, Vice President of Sales and Marketing here at Videk in Rochester, New York. Today I am thrilled to have with me Team Videk.
Hello everybody, my name is Brad Wargula. I'm the Applications Engineering Manager here at Videk.
Hi, Carolyn Russell. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager.
So today we're very excited to introduce a new product called Digital Eyes. It's a new entry-level system built specifically for the Colorstream press. It's an easy add-on to your Colorstream press sale. It's extremely affordable and will provide great value to your customer. So just quickly before we get into that, a word about our partnership. We've been a Canon partner for over 20 years and offer solutions for your entire range of continuous form and cut sheet printers. From toner-based products to inkjet products, we cover the entire suite. These solutions are Canon certified, service supported, they're in your price book and ready to go. So before we get into the product, we have to address typical customer concerns and customers who ask why add vision to the press sale. And first and foremost, customers do not want to fly blind. They want to be able to check quality as these presses are running in full production mode at speeds up to 500, 600 feet a minute. And especially in a roll-to-roll environment, they really want a window into that press without stopping the press. They're concerned about quality. These inkjet presses are running really well. The technology is maturing, but sometimes starting up the press, pausing the press may affect quality. So they're extremely interested in confirming that the press is in fact running well. And especially when moving from offset to inkjet, they're used to cameras. They're looking for maybe color or registration on these offset presses. They also want cameras on the inkjet presses. For highly sensitive documents that really need to come off that press perfect, documents like election ballots or pharmaceutical test documents, even direct mail, direct marketing pieces where color needs to be spot on and perfect. They're concerned about that. So in the end, they really want to make the most out of their printer investment. They bought the Colorstream to run the Colorstream. They want to keep it up and running and produce documents off that press. So how do we do that? Well, first, if you don't have vision, you can't see anything. You can't see any errors that might come up. If you can't see it, you can't fix it. So adding vision, adding digital eyes, definitely impacts the bottom line. For the customer, it'll help them maximize printer productivity and ensure quality as you're running the heck out of that printer. Starting, stopping, starting, pausing really adds the wear and tear on that press. So adding vision helps keep that press up and running, reduces maintenance. Finding errors early while the documents are being printed helps you be able to make adjustments on that press right in line, therefore reducing consumable waste. You don't want to find an error downstream at the insertion point. And also, vision has potential to reduce manpower. We have a customer that is hiring temporary folks to look at the back-end quality of the documents coming off the press. Adding vision, adding those digital eyes on the press, let the cameras do the work. The cameras can always see what's coming off the press. And finally, it's really just an insurance policy for printers. They want to make sure they have that extra layer of protection, the ability to look at the output while the press is running. And for Canon, you are our sales channel, and we truly appreciate the partnership. For Canon, it provides a level playing field, especially in a situation where you're going up in a competitive deal against a manufacturer that may have cameras built into their press. If your customer's concerned about quality, they want to know how you're handling jet outs, now you have an answer for that. For situations where it's not a competitive situation, this can play as a differentiator. You can add digital eyes to your Colorstream sale and at a very low price point differentiate that press. And finally, any digital eyes, any Videk sale adds to your revenue goals, counts toward your booking value, and also adds service dollars, renewable service every year as well. So, what is digital eyes? It's an entry-level vision system, very easy to use, that incorporates, and I'm going to bring in my trusty laser pointer here, incorporates 2 contact image sensors into each engine of the press. These are your cameras that are installed right in the press, looking at every image going by. The accompanying hardware goes into the back side of the press, so the system adds no footprint to your line. And finally, here's the operator interface, the user monitor, that is placed upon either engine above the current monitors that are a part of your Colorstream press. We like to think of it as a starter kit for vision. It's easily scalable, upgradable from here. So all this hardware that you see would remain intact. And as your customer grows, as they need more functionality, this system will grow with your customer as well. And finally, it's affordable. For under $50,000, you can get your customer started with digital eyes. We listened to you, we listened to headquarters. Headquarters came back, the field came back to us and said, look, we want a really low-cost, entry-level, simple-to-use system. We want it under $50,000. So here it is, finally, we have for you digital eyes. The other thing I'll add before moving on is that we heard also from the field that this is simply a rounding error on your press steel. So when you're selling a $1.2, $1.6 million press, adding another $49.9 to it really won't make that much of a deal. It's a rounding error. So let's take a look at what Digital Eyes actually does, offering 2 really powerful features for the operator. First, it's a live web view. So coming up to the system monitor here, it allows the operator to approach the system, look at every page as it's going by at top printer speed. So therefore, there's no need to slow or stop that press. The operator can pause, pan, zoom, scroll on an image. So if they want to check quality, they just pause that image, take a look around, zoom through, and they can even look at images that preceded that image. If they see that maybe there's a trend or a problem, they can go look at some of the previous images that came before the one they're looking at. The second really great feature is that it offers digital proof. So as the printer is printing and our cameras are imaging every document going by, we are capturing and storing every 50th image for permanent access. We do this for a 24-hour period, at which time we then flush out the images. They can be stored for permanent access, so for audit trail compliance, maybe customers want to save images for 30 days, so if a customer calls back and says they have a quality issue, something's wrong, they can go back and look through the images. And in addition, we have an emerging usage of this feature. Customers are actually using these digital proofs for their customers to access in the beginning of a print run for online acceptance and proof of print. So here's where all the magic happens now. I'm going to turn this over to Brad. He's going to give you a little demo here. We are simulating what you will see on a Colorstream press. The images that we are showing on this simulator were actually printed on the Colorstream in the CEC.
So hello everybody, thank you for joining us. So as you see on the screen, as Christine mentioned, we have a live view right here into the software platform, Digital Eyes. This gives you a glimpse into the user interface and how the functionality within the software that provides the user with all those capabilities that Christine touched upon earlier. So to start, what we're going to talk through is that what you're seeing on the screen. So we have two live views. You have Engine 1 and Engine 2 both being displayed. The system is very simplistic in nature. Once you power on the system, it'll take you to this application screen. It will activate the inspection, and then as the operator releases the print job, you will start to begin to see live images on both views. By default, you see both simultaneously. However, you do have the ability to come in and select an individual video or engine to see that specific view. So if you watch on the screen, I'm going to select video 1. Now we have isolated engine 1's view and gives the user the ability to see engine 1 only on the screen. Another feature with Digital Eyes is that it provides the user the ability to pan and zoom on the images. So as you can see on the screen, you can zoom in, pan about the image. This is useful for operators that, a lot of customers that we work with have quality procedures in place that require the operators to perform these periodic spot checks of the production. In a roll-to-roll environment, it's very difficult to do this without ramping down the printer, slowing down production, and losing out on throughput. So with Digital Eyes, the operator can now come in and do their periodic quality checks with the software, allow the printer to continue running at full speed, not lose any throughput, and ensure that the printer is printing in optimal print quality. Because as we all know, as you slow down the printer, you ramp down the printer, you introduce the opportunity for quality defects. So now I'm going to zoom back out here and go back to the All tab. So now we're viewing both images simultaneously, Engine 1 and 2. Another feature that was mentioned before in Christine's presentation was our image archive capability. This capability gives the user the ability to go back, and I'm selecting the button now, going into this image archive viewer mode, and the user can now come and look at images that have been archived. We archive every 50th image, and the images will have the engine name within the file name. So we have Engine 1 and Engine 2 denoted in the file name, and then it also has the date and time stamp. So if the operator wanted to go back and look at a specific period of time over a 24-hour time frame, they could come to this window and perform that quality check or image check at that point in time. If they were to spot an image that they wanted to use for a reference, let's say extract that, give it to their quality team for analysis offline, we also provide the ability to do that with the Save Image button. So these images are stored on the system's hard drive. If the user wants to remove them, they can simply select the image itself and then the Save Image button, and that will port the image directly to a USB drive that can be plugged directly in the monitor. Very simple, very easy. Just simply put the USB drive in, select the image, save image. Now they have that reference image to go back to quality control. So now what I'm going to do is navigate back to the application screen. One feature that is very nice with our software is it gives you the flexibility to navigate throughout and go to different windows. So as you've seen on the screen, I went into Image Archive, but when we came back into the application screen, the images are still refreshing. So it's not pausing anything. The system is continually inspecting, acquiring images while we're moving about the screen. So now what I'm going to show is the pause functionality. This is useful again, goes back to the ability for the user to perform quality checks or spot checks. This gives the user the ability to now pause the image. Let's say that they were running, they thought that they saw a defect, whether it's a missing ink or extraneous ink. They pause the screen. Now they can come in and, without the image refreshing, perform a spot check on that specific image. So we're in a view displaying both Engine 1 and 2. Let's say the operator wanted to look at Engine 2 specifically. They thought they saw an anomaly in the image. If they select Video 2, they can now come to that paused image and perform the same pan and zoom capabilities that were demonstrated earlier. Here we look to the left-hand side. There's a registration crosshair They can take a look at that, make sure that the print registration looks good, and do their typical quality checks that they would perform, but now simply on a static image. One other feature that you'll also notice is that there's a slide rule below the image. That gives the user the ability to look at the last 5 images from the instance that they hit the pause button. So these images are stored in memory. So that allows the user to see the 5 previous cycles, and then as we move about the slider, you'll also notice that it actually will take them right into a view of the images that are archived in storage. So what we're doing is we're actually linking the stored images in that image archive button that we talked about earlier to the slide rule. It gives the user now the last 5 and then a large sample set for that specific camera or that engine from the grouping of images that are within storage. So what it ends up eventually turning into is a seamless view of the previous images have been captured using both our memory functionality and then the stored images. So I'm going to unpause and zoom out here. There we go. And that is all that I have for the product demo, so I will hand it back over to Christine.
Okay. Thank you, Brad. So we'll go back to the presentation. Okay, thank you, Brad. So the next thing we'll talk about is the scalability of digital eyes. And the first major upgrade to digital eyes is to add jet monitoring. So, Brad, will you take us away?
Sure, absolutely. So as you'll notice on the screen, there are 2 images. The top image is a actual page that was acquired from a Colorstream printer. This was actually on the Colorstream printer within the CEC, in which there were refresh lines configured. And you can see those at the top of the screen. We have a little magnifying glass on the refresh lines, and we're blowing that up essentially to show the inspection capability of the jet monitoring upgrade for digital eyes. Before I get too far into this, though, I just want to talk, digital eyes, very simple platform, gives the user the ability to be subjective in their quality assurance. This step up is where we start to look at objectivity. We're incorporating tools that have algorithms that are going to perform the inspections, and you start to remove the reliance on the user to make the decisions. When we went down the path of figuring out best methods for the jet monitoring or jet health inspection, what we did with Canon specifically is we looked at what's inherent in the printer. So, I talked a little bit in the beginning here just about the refresh line configuration. That is something that every customer that has a Canon Colorstream printer can go on and enable and essentially provide this functionality to Videk. Below that, you'll see that there's a refresh page. I would say large percentage of Canon customers will use refresh pages. Typically, they're configured to C5. As we know with a refresh page, its purpose is to refresh the heads or nozzles in the printers, the nozzles with the print heads, to ensure that once production begins, all of the nozzles have been exercised, the ink is being laid down, and there is no quality issues present prior to printing that very first page. So with the Videk system, we incorporate inspection on both the refresh lines and refresh pages. Some customers don't have the ability to remove the refresh line, so in those circumstances, we only will inspect the refresh page. But the way the system is configured is that it will look at the bars within either configuration and make a determination if there's jet outs. If it finds jet outs, it will box them in, as you can see in the zoomed in block on the upper right-hand corner of the slide here. The system is capable of finding a single jet out when printing at 600 DPI. So in both patterns, in the refresh lines or refresh pages, we will find single jet out conditions, box them in, provide the user with the ability to then also, as you've seen in the demonstration, pause the image, zoom in, see where the defect lies, does it affect my production? At that point, now the user is getting told essentially there's an error, and they can make an educated decision to, whether to stop the printer or remedy the issue. The system itself, the jet monitoring upgrade, provides some additional hardware. Specifically, it gives the system now a light pole or signal pole, which now will draw the operator over to the system. We provide an optional cable for integrating it right into the printer, so it can communicate, it can make the decision to stop the printer if we see certain quality conditions. And one last point I want to mention is, we talked a little bit about the refresh page. The inspection on the refresh page specifically focuses on the last grouping on the last refresh page. So if we had a customer that has 5 pages that they're printing at the beginning of the job, our inspection logic will monitor that quantity on the last page or 5th page in the example explained. We will look at that last grouping and at that point ensure there are no voids present, which now guarantees to the customer that they're beginning production on optimal print quality mode.
Great. Thank you, Brad. So now we're going to look at a customer story here, a case study for you. So here we have a Canon customer stop. Hi, guys. Can you come off mute?
Yep, I'm sure Jill marked it.
Okay. So,
yeah, Jill,
thank you, Brad. And now we'll take a quick look at a case study. So here we have a customer up in the Northeast, an election ballot printer, who purchased a Colorstream 3900, a used printer with used pre-post equipment as well. They're printing election ballots monochrome, no color here, and they wanted to just ensure that the press was running optimally while reducing labor costs and not stopping that press. So because of the nature of the documents printed, they were hiring temps to come in and look at quality at the back end. They were going roll to fan fold, roll
to sheet.
To sheet. Thank you, Brad.
No problem.
And so given the configuration of the line, they did have temps on the back looking at quality. So they wanted to find a way to automate one simple quality check, that is look for jet outs, and they at the same time wanted to reduce that labor coming in. So they did have some well-known processes in place that they wanted to then rely on the camera for. So we put in digital eyes with jet detection. So now they're using those refresh bars on every page, and the system will interrogate those refresh bars to look for jets. So if jets are found over a series of 5 pages, the user will be notified and an error message goes to the screen. From there, then, the printer can be stopped, or the operator can make adjustments. So what they're seeing immediately are increased productivity from letting the press run, and they've greatly reduced the workforce by 50% or even more. They're also seeing less maintenance on that printer because they're not starting, stopping, pausing to look for quality in their known manual processes. Now they're able to automate that and finally reduce waste. They can find errors early. They can make adjustments. So we talked earlier about the scalability of this product. We got this solution in, and the customer really liked it a lot. They came back to us and they said, this is great, but we want it to do a little bit more. So I'm going to turn it to Brad again to talk about that.
Sure, absolutely. And I think Christine did some justice to the comment about this customer wanting to do more later down the road. We were mid-installation and they were already inquiring into Videk's capabilities to provide reporting and some additional inspection options. So we had to, I always try to hold this back and tell Christine, because working with sales, we always want to take advantage of every opportunity, but specifically with this customer, we said, let's get this system installed, let's get you guys up to speed, get comfortable with it, and then at that point we can move forward and make decisions on how we could optimize the inspection system. So their initial requirement was advanced reporting. As Christine mentioned, they did deploy a workforce of temps, pretty substantial workforce of temps, and they were looking to reduce that. The vision system provided them with the objectivity, the automated inspection on the jet outs, but now we needed a way to limit the workforce. The way we did that is by providing them with data, so reporting. What we did is we found essentially created a dashboard for this customer. They would run the ballots. We would provide a report at the end of the print job or print segment, and then it would indicate if there was above a certain percentage of failures. And now what we did is essentially, instead of requiring the temps, the workforce of temps, to go in and look at every single one of these printed segments, we are now telling them, hey, go look at segment 3, go look at segment 5, go look at segment 11. We're reducing down the quantity of people needed to do their inspection routines. We also incorporated with that functionality the ability to provide email notifications. So as these segments complete, the quality control lead will receive notifications from the Videk system, email notifications, which give them access, a direct link right to the reports. They could go in and do the spot checks right in their office. So they have the advanced reporting, pinpoints the focus of the temps, reduces the quantity of temps needed. We get the email notification, keeps the quality control personnel involved, up to date, notified. And then lastly, as we integrated that first set of upgrades, the customer contracted us for some additional inspection capabilities with respect to custom perforation. So what we did is we found a way to design and integrate what ended up being a custom transport that provides the customer now with the ability to monitor perf inspection as well. So they monitor all the critical quality aspects with the vision system inside the Colorstream, and then we upgraded them to give them additional set of cameras to give them the add-on functionality of perf inspection, perf quality. Not to beat this into the ground, but perf inspection, as we know, there could be a lot of issues with it. I mean, the most common is the operator, the user, is not properly configuring that unit. And as you're running and the perforator is turned off, very simple example, you're going to have product that's not going to make it out. You're going to have delays, and especially with customers in very important industry such as ballot printing, they can't afford that.
Excellent, thank you. The beauty of this too is that what started out as a $60,000 sale to the end user, it more than doubled. It ended up being around $150,000. So it was a great way to go back into this customer and add more value, increase sales, additional revenue, and in the end, everybody's happy. So again, the product's scalable. It can grow with the customer, as you've seen here. Let's talk about that a little bit. So as we talked about in the beginning, the hardware that comes in with digital eyes stays put. It's always able to grow with the customer. We come back in as your customer's needs change, and we can add on functionality. So the first major category is for data integrity. So these are the customers that want to maybe do document tracking, ensure that every document has been printed, or they want to collect data and analyze all the personal data on the documents and have an audit trail for that. So with the data integrity module, we're able to look at barcodes and decode them and check for the quality, postal codes, OCR, so we're talking account numbers, microlines, stock numbers, et cetera, OMR codes. We even are able to ingest a customer-driven file, take that in, and use it as a comparison tool on each and every document. So on the fly, we can read an account number and then perhaps compare that to the customer data to ensure that that document has the correct information on it. And finally, we do offer advanced reporting, providing results for each inspection and the corresponding result, if it passed, if it failed, and that ties back into quality. The second major module that we offer is advanced print quality. So whereas with the first upgrade to digital eyes with the jet detection, we also add additional inspections for print quality. So print registration, color analytics, we do color-to-color reg and stitching to make sure that everything's printing correctly. As well, for the advanced printing module, we have reporting available that gives the customer all the data that they may or may not be looking for and all the pass-fail results. So this is the next major upgrade that we offer beyond the jet detection. So in the beginning of this presentation, we looked at some drivers to vision. Why are customers concerned about vision? Why are they looking to add cameras onto their press seal? Well, here you can see some pretty compelling results. We're really seeing an increase in productivity, anywhere from 5 to 20%, 12% on average. We're seeing productivity gains by allowing digital eyes to do what it does best. The customers can now rely on the operators to look at output as it's coming off the press and allow the digital eyes to do simple inspections like confirming the jet health. So let that printer run. Secondly, reduce waste. The digital eyes allows you to find quality concerns, find errors while the printer's printing, and finding those errors early allows you to make adjustments. If you can't see it, you can't fix it. And finally, it's just a great and economical insurance policy that customers want. They want an extra eye on their press. They want some simple automated functions that will help them gain their productivity and produce the quality output that they're expecting. It's a low-risk investment. So let's talk a little bit about how to sell this product. First and foremost, we're here to help you, and we'll reiterate that over and over again. But there's two focus points. One is new printer sales. The next is the existing installation base. For new printer sales, I think you can see here that we know typically the customers that we're looking to target, especially roll-to-roll situations, customers moving from offset to inkjet, and for those really concerned with quality, especially with high-profile, highly sensitive documents. There's another customer profile that we've seen emerging, and those are the ones that are really into technology, and they want to show it off. So they've purchased a new Colorstream press. They're very proud. They want to open those doors, point to the cameras when they are bringing new prospects, when they are trying to gain new sales themselves. They want to open those doors to the press, point to the cameras, and say, look, we're really committed to quality here. We've invested in this. The second area is, as I mentioned, those existing customers, the install base. For those of you that have older Colorstreams out in the field, which many of you do, there's a lot of them out there, those are a perfect candidate for digital eyes, just like we talked about in the case study. We're working with headquarters to come up with a Q3 program, an outbound marketing program coming from Canon to your installed base to create some interest here and to identify leads. So we're working tightly with headquarters to do that. We will have an incentive built in for the customer to sweeten the pot, let them raise their hand and say, yeah, I'm interested, and Videk will come in and help you through it and take you from there. So this has been released. It in the books, in your system, ready to order. We have the material number set, the pricing set, the jet monitoring option. It adds another $10,000. So for under 60 grand, you can get the full digital eyes with the jet monitoring option. So it's in your configurator. You'll see it there for every Colorstream configuration that you start out with. You'll see that the Videk digital eyes is there with it. So leave it checked in. Start with the digital eyes. Let the customer come back if we can't convince them and take it off, but at least let every quote go out with a digital eye system on it. We're here to provide you with a quote if needed. Easy to do. Just come to us and ask, and we can get that for you. And we're really pleased to let you know that Canon has these in stock. Canon has invested in this product, and we're extremely psyched that that has happened. So the lead time on this is next to none. They're in stock, ready to go, and we're ready to move them out. Mentioned earlier, compensation, we're all concerned about that, and don't be concerned. This does go towards your booking value, and you will get compensated for it. So now I'm going to hand it over to Carolyn for a quick note on some of the tools that we have for you.
Hi, great, thank you. Hopefully it comes through in our presentation today, but we're just so excited to bring digital eyes to you. We've recently released it, and we've seen a lot of great feedback so far, and just have felt a lot of momentum. People are excited for this project. People are excited to be able to offer it to their customers, and that's where we want to help. We really value our relationship with Canon as one of your trusted partners, and our key message really here is to lean on Videk. Let us help do the selling for you. We're working with headquarters to produce a suite of tools that are available. We have a data sheet, the case studies. We continue to produce additional case studies. FAQs, PowerPoint, we'll have one that has the technical information that will help remind you of some of the details. And we're finalizing a second presentation that really is meant to go directly in front of your customers to help ease that process. The product bulletin was released and sent out, and all of these are available either through the Canon intranet or through booths, depending on whether they're internal or customer-facing. Our technical team knows this product inside and out. They're here to help. Please feel free to rely on them. Bring us your prospects. Let us make the phone calls for you. Let us get in front of them and tell them why we know vision will make their lives easier, why it's really a product they're not going to want to live without. Our team will help set up a demo. We'll visit customer site, join a WebEx. Whatever you feel your customer needs, we can be there to help support you. We do have digital eyes installed in the CEC and the Colorstream. We've had a couple demos down there, and it really is a great way to showcase how easy digital eyes is to install and to use and to get up and running, and the benefits of having it on a machine are clearly visible. So our message really is get in touch, let us know how we can help you.
Excellent, thank you. So we're at the end of our presentation. I just wanted to leave up here for you to read at your leisure some great statements coming right from our customers, some testimonials that just support the fact that they really value the product. Speaking of customers, meet us in the CEC. As Carolyn said, we have a great demo down there. Digital Eyes is installed on the Colorstream press. We can also demonstrate on it more advanced features if that is what your customer is interested in. We also have product on the VarioPrint 6000, our DocuVision Edge system there, and also on the i300 as well. We're thrilled to have that down there. So we do cover your suite of printers in the CEC, and we're happy to help you in any way, talk to your customers and add value to your demos. So thank you. Here's our contact information. We're excited to hear from you and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Christine. I've got a couple questions.
Sure.
You guys had mentioned that the quality could be checked at 600 by 600 DPI. What about the customers out there running fast, 480 by 600.
Great question, Mike. Brad?
So are you talking about the customers that are running in black only? So the higher speed mode, Mike?
Yeah. Yes.
So those, it's the same. Since the process resolution will lower with the camera system as the speed increases, but the most critical resolution is the cross-process resolution of the camera. With speed increases, that will not change. What it will do, though, is it'll just make the refresh lines need to be a touch bigger because we need a certain quantity of pixels for each one, but that's going to be black only, so commonly won't be that big of an issue to increase it a little bit, but that's the only thing that would impact.
Okay, great. I knew that would probably come up, so that's why I asked it to clarify now. I just want to make sure the sales reps are aware that Videk is considered a software solution. Now it's shifted from Wayne Slota under me, so this helps you attain your software number that everybody's responsible for this year. So definitely move forward with any Videk opportunities that you can, because that will help with your software number, bottom line. And as Christine alluded to, you will get full comp on it. So the collaterals that Carolyn showed are available on Boost under the Videk folder under Software Partner Solutions. There's also a digitalized bulletin that goes into all the pricing. I know that Christine showed you some of the pricing, but the entire bulletin, well, the bulletin actually has all the pricing for the full solution included in there with the installation, training, and all the other ancillary things that are involved. Is there, Brad, is there a way to automate saving the archive of the images for a plan of record?
What was that last statement for a client of record?
Yeah, so a customer may need to have a plan of record to show historical tracking, maybe go back 30 days. Even though it's every 50th page, it still shows the quality of what the press was putting out 30 days before. Is there a way, other than just manually copying it to a USB stick, can that be a script written where it just ports it over to an external drive?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot we could do with the software. It's a Linux platform, so what we've used before, I mean, you could network it, and then the customer essentially could go in. We would let them know where the directory is and create a share, so Samba share, and then they could go in and access it. There's also cron scripts that could be written, which cron is just periodical execution of commands. So if the customer wanted to go in and pour off a certain quantity of images within a range, they could develop a script and we could put it within cron, execute it, and then if networked, it can move whatever grouping of files that they're looking to transfer over to their permanent storage on their servers. Perfect.
I like it. I just want to make sure solution to it, that's actually the equivalent of a DocuVision Lite system that we used to sell. Okay, so if you have customers out there that have DocuVision Lite and now you want to come in and add another system, it's to digitalize and then add the jet detection to that solution, and basically you'll have the equivalent of what you'd previously sold to the customers. And Brad, could you just talk a minute about what a contact image sensor is and the advantage that it has over optical cameras?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the key advantage with the contact image sensor is simplicity in installation. So with the typical line scan cameras, well, additionally to that, cost as well is a factor, but with the traditional line scan cameras, you require lensing, you require an additional light line, you require very specific setup. So especially with the Colorstream, to get a higher resolution, we would typically, for a 20-inch wide substrate, we would typically use 2 line scan cameras. So there's 2 times the cost there. Then there's some additional setup for getting the cameras to be stitched together. So our software is going to have whoever would be working with the system from the application side would have some additional tasks to ensure that the stitching was done properly and accurately. And then, so with the contact image sensor, you're getting right around the resolution that you would get with 2 line scan cameras. You don't have the light bar you have to worry about with mounting, and from a installation perspective, very simple. Essentially has a gauge that sets the working distance. That's it. So when you go in, you'll put brackets on the camera. It slides right in. You get to a specific working distance. Has fixed focal length lens, LEDs built right into it, and a simple calibration routine. You're ready to go.
They're very reliable as well, right?
Yes, very reliable.
Yeah.
Low maintenance. With the camera, you introduce the lensing, which our newer lenses that we use have the thumb screws, so you can't lock them in place. But as we all know, you get in and you bump the camera. Now you affect the alignment. You could bump the focus, which will affect your the focus of the image, give you poor quality. So the contact image sensor essentially alleviates all those concerns.
Yeah. And then I have one last question, and then I'll let you guys go. Is when you turn on the refresh lines inner document, that then means that there's going to be a chip out requirement, right? When they go to finish the product on the finish line, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So it's probably an obvious thing, but I figure I'd mention it. When you do the refresh bars in front of the job, then they just get, that's just waste and trimmed and thrown away. But when you do them in between the documents, keep in mind that you're going to need some kind of chip out to get rid of those pages or those inner document refresh bars. All right. Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time today, and look forward to a lot of net new installations of digital eyes.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.